Welcome to Alchemical Science. I'm Jordan, an open source researcher, alchemist, and a student of the inventor and vortex fusion specialist Malcolm Bendall. Here it is, the long-awaited version 2 of the Alchemical Science Thunderstorm Generator DIY build guide. In this video, part 1, we are going to show the materials necessary for the build, and Steve, who worked on some of the original prototypes with Malcolm in Australia, is going to show us how to put it all together. These first two units of the system, which we're going to show in this first video part of the build guide, are very simple. No one should have any trouble constructing this. In part 2 of the series, we will show the materials and the construction of the third and final part of the system, the Thunderstorm Generator Vajra, and that'll be coming sometime in the next few months, this year for certain. So I'm holding off so that I can get some footage of one being made up live. And in the meantime, you can go and check out the original DIY build guide video, which goes through the steps to build this unit already. And remember to check out the several update videos done on the build guide afterwards too, if you follow this part of the guide. I will, of course, be condensing and updating all of this information for part 2, version 2 of the guide, so keep an eye out for that video later this year. Remember to get your tickets for the Alchemy of Prague and Advanced Energy Symposium happening in Prague and Brno at the start of September. This is going to be really cool. Roger Green from Breakthrough Energy has lined up a huge spread of events, from Practical Alchemy with Paul Harris, Advanced Energy Systems with Bob Grenier, to local alchemical history and a jazz riverboat cruise. So this is going to be a chance to explore many curious topics and hang out with some really great people. Links are in the description. Get your ticket. One last note, Malcolm Bendall and Strike Foundation have submitted patents for the Thunderstorm Generator, and Strike Foundation holds the IP. So this open source video is intended as a guide for academic and home replicators who are building the unit for research purposes or for their own use. Any commercial investment or licensing inquiries should be directed to Alpha Prospects or Strike Foundation respectively. So I'm independent of the commercial rollout of these technologies, and my videos are for purely educational purposes, and they're not intended as investment advice or anything else. And once again, I thank Malcolm and his partners for their cooperation in allowing all of this to be open sourced. We couldn't do it if it wasn't for them. And I can genuinely say that they've shown a true commitment to education, transparency, and science throughout all my dealings with them. And I came at this as an independent. So final disclaimer, I take no responsibility for any accidents or injuries that you sustain as a result of trying to follow this guide. These two units on their own, they pose little to no risk. But the complete system does have its ordinary and minor risks to manage, much the same things to be aware of as when playing around with an engine or something similar. So high pressures and temperatures, also the electromagnetic consideration of the Vajra. So if you know a little electrical engineering, that's good. So this has its dangers, but of course, the majority of you who attempt to replicate this, you should be quite used to working around manageable risks in your normal line of work or experimentation, you know, if you're a mechanic or an electrical engineer, something like this. So please be aware of the risks and prioritize safety when you're unsure. I take no responsibility. All right, moving on to the Thunderstorm Generator. First, I've prepared a 1-minute introduction to the Thunderstorm Generator, its applications, and its working principles for those who are still wondering what this is. You're completely new to it. Even if you've been watching along for a while, a lot of people have been asking to see this simplified even more and condensed, so hopefully this will serve that. The Thunderstorm Generator, invented by Australian geochemist and vortex fusion specialist Malcolm Bendall, is a waste energy conversion system designed to be retrofitted to any existing combustion engine or carbon emission source. This includes, but is not limited to, installations that utilize petrol, diesel, natural gas, coal, and other carbon-based fuels. By retrofitting the Thunderstorm Generator to our existing infrastructure and integrating it into new internal combustion technologies, carbon emissions, including carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, and hydrocarbons, can be reduced to zero or to a negligible percentage. This is accompanied by a significant increase in oxygen, resulting in the final composition of the exhaust being similar to that of atmospheric readings of clean air. In addition to remediating the carbon exhaust emissions, the Thunderstorm Generator has been shown to improve the fuel consumption and power output of the engine significantly. These combined functions are achieved not with rare metal catalysts or costly or dangerous materials, but instead by a little-known but well-supported phenomena variously termed ball lightning, plasmoids, exotic vacuum objects, EVOs, structured plasma fields, or structured self-contained electromagnetic fields. These self-sustaining, structured plasma entities are formed via a process called water bubble cavitation. In its current pre-production prototype phase, the device consists of 3 primary units. The final unit of the system is retrofitted to the air intake and the exhaust of the existing engine or installation. Alright, now that we know what we are dealing with, let's jump straight into the build guide. In this first video of the series, we'll go through the materials and the construction of the first 2 units of the system, the Ionizer and the bubbler or plasmoid generator. So I'll show diagrams and a short explanation for each phase of the system before we show the construction of each unit. Okay, alright, so I'm here with Steve Monkhurst, who's worked on some of the original prototypes in Australia with Malcolm back in the day. So he's put a few of these together. We're going to be looking at the Ionizer and the bubbler or plasmoid generator parts. So just going through quickly, showing you how it can be assembled and the basic parts. The Ionizer. The first unit of the system becomes the new air intake for the entire system. It consists of a chamber containing a UV bulb of a specific wavelength. Air is vacuumed through this chamber and ionized by the bulb. This step is performed simply to set up more favorable conditions for the process which occurs in the second unit of the system. So Steve, you want to...
Yeah, righto. 6-inch PVC pipe, okay? Just a section of it. You get the lid, screw-on lid on this section here, and this is your the tube that feeds into the bubbler, the bottom of the bubbler. So that's your female fitting there. Put your pipe on that and it goes to the bottom of the bubbler. Okay, it sits up like so. Put the lid on, that's got the light on it. A bit of electrical cord. What's that globe we used on this? The 100?
UV globe. I can't exactly remember, but I'll put the specs on with the video.
Okay, put the UV globe in here, stick the lid on, and you also have a 1-inch hole here for the vacuum to draw through, and the vacuum draws it through that section over here and into the bubbler.
All right, so we'll just do a couple close-up shots of that.
Perfect.
And we'll just rotate that.
That fitting down here is just what you use on a tank, a water tank.
Okay, so that's just a water tank fitting. And that's all there really is to the Ionizer. Not much to it. I think anyone can make that quite easily.
Yeah.
The bubbler, or plasmoid generator. The second unit of the system consists of a novel water bubble generator and cavitation device. Ionized air is vacuumed through a porous membrane into a water-filled chamber, utilizing the existing engine's measured compression and exhaust strokes. In this way, microscopic ionized bubbles of air and water gases are formed and are vacuumed through the water, which is packed with steel wool to further micronize the bubbles, to the upper part of the chamber, which contains no water. On the reverse stroke of the engine's pistons, the bubbles are collapsed. If the bubbles are within the parameters necessary for viable cavitation, in other words, if the bubble cavities are of the correct volume and spherical geometry at the moment they are collapsed, they will symmetrically implode to form a toroidal electromagnetic field or plasma structure, which has the ability to sustain its form and can be used to perform work, including the atomic reconstruction of carbon-based exhaust streams to atmospheric levels of oxygen and nitrogen, similar in composition to pure, clean air. This is the process of water bubble cavitation. The ball lightning or plasmoid is the true secret of the Thunderstorm generator and the specific process behind what people previously called cold fusion or low-energy nuclear reactions. These are now becoming defunct and imprecise terms, but for a long time they were used to describe elements of the same process in other historical experiments and systems. The true process of water bubble cavitation, as employed in the Thunderstorm Generator and Malcolm Bendall's future atomic reconstruction technology applications, does not produce a nuclear byproduct, and the reactions are not cold. They occur at extremely high pressures and temperatures, which, however, are safely contained within the context of this system. The newly formed plasmoids feed on surrounding water vapors and gases, and they utilize this potential energy to grow their own plasma structure. And then along with the remaining water gases and vapors, they are vacuumed in a stream through the outlet at the top of the chamber into the final unit of the retrofit system, the Thunderstorm Generator itself. Alright, so next we're going to go through the bubbler or plasmoid generator construction. It's also pretty simple, a lot of just hardware store parts. So Steve's going to go through the part list and then show the construction.
4-inch transparent piping. PVC, or what do you call this stuff? I
don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Clear pipe. Okay.
Malcolm had trouble getting these overseas.
Yeah.
But you will find something suitable, I'm sure. I think you can more easily get opaque pipes. It's just then you can't see the bubbles going, so it's really not ideal.
It has to be clear.
Yeah, you want clear.
You want the clear pipe, okay. 4-inch clear pipe. Then you have your rubbers. You fit on in the pipes. And this is the end that we use. Which one is it? That's this one here. That's the lid, fitting. And it's got the faucet on here, little faucet. And then you've got your male fitting in here. The pipe goes onto this.
So that's just tank stuff once again.
Yep. And that screws onto this one here. That's a PVC cap, 6-inch cap, 4-inch pipe, 4-inch cap, okay. And then you have your stone.
Let me just show this one up there, a little bit closer. Simple pipe fittings.
Okay, what's it called again? What do you call these again?
Kind of a porous air stone that's used for fish
right.
tank. I'll show this one up as well. So this you can get from just pet stores, general things like that.
The diffuser, we use as a diffuser.
Diffuser, yeah. This is to make the micronized bubbles that are used for cavitation.
That's it here. This is part of a funnel. Okay, and then we glue the diffuser in here. And then also put a couple of straps around just to hold it in place. We drill a couple of small holes, one here, one there, 4 holes, and then we put the strap through.
Yeah.
The tie downs.
The air stone on.
Yeah, and then you put the stuff, the Sally stuff or whatever you want to use.
Yeah. Too easy.
Around the stone, so it exposes part of the stone.
Yeah.
And the vacuum can draw through it.
Yep. Thanks.
So and you push that down into this thing here, into the tube.
So maybe I'll just show this one quickly as well up close before we pop it in there. But you can see, just a plastic funnel cut down, and then he's just strapped this and used any means to get it in there.
Okay, it's glued in there. It's got
glued in there as well. Yeah.
Okay, now, and then we've got the rubbers, of course, which you put on here. That separates from the tube. So you've got that, and you've got this thing here. You have this. This is your everyday plunger used for your your sink.
Sink or toilet
for the
plunger.
Sink. That's right. If we take the handle off it, I just drilled it out over here, and I screwed it onto the faucet.
Right.
I cut the faucet right down. So I cut the faucet's about 4 inches long.
So you've had to cut it down a bit. So let's just see that up close as well. You can see the plunger. And that's just fit in there with those tank fittings again.
Okay. And then you have your
stainless steel wool.
Stainless steel wool, okay, that you buy in
pot and pan
anywhere.
scrubs.
That's right. Scrubbers. Okay, the scrubbers.
I get a lot of people asking, should I use a finer one? Should I use...
No, stick to that one.
No, stick to this one. It seems to be producing the best results.
Yeah, the fine one tends to rust.
Right, okay, so maybe that's
for us,
actually
yeah.
a different material even.
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
right.
maybe if you can find something appropriate, you can try that. But
Yeah.
these do seem to work for the purpose, so...
They work well.
yeah,
They work
getting
well.
great results, so no need to change.
Okay, well this is the, it's a 1/4 inch thread, and you buy them in 1 metre length, and I've cut off about 18 inches of it, and I've put a fine wire mesh retainer on the bottom of it, and I've pushed the gore onto, well this, it's a scrubbing brush stuff, okay, which I cut the circles out of. You buy these at your paint shops, mainly where they sell car paints and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay, you buy them, they're 4 inches wide, so just cut them to suit. And I've put the same over here, same this side here. And then what we do is we slide that inside the duvallaki, inside the pipe. Okay, so we might as well start assembling. What do you reckon?
Let's do it.
Okay. let's
Well,
have a
you
go.
can do it.
All right.
He's the master.
No, no.
Bubblers.
That's a bubble boy.
The bubbler master, bubble boy.
Yeah. Okay, now we place that inside here. Screw this off. Place it in.
Alright, so putting the funnel and the air stone
Yeah, so
into this
in there.
pipe piece here.
Okay.
So just show what you're doing there, Steve.
Okay.
If you turn it around, oh well,
Okay.
you can kind of see, but
Yeah.
this is just put in the pipe there. Otherwise, these are all the questions I get afterwards.
Yeah.
Fair
I'm
enough.
glad you can answer the questions. Okay, then we just screw this part on here. That's got the male, female thing on the bottom.
Funnel in the top, placed in there.
Funnel fits in here.
So that's facing up,
That's
obviously, because this is going to be our input.
That's the input there. So then what we do is we put pipe, the rubber tube over this, the rubber sock on it. We've got to get this just about nice and straight. Looks about right. Okay, now we haven't got a screwdriver, have we?
Ah, I can grab one.
There we are, got it. Okay, so that's sitting on there. Now what we do is, we've got it right, mate, we've got it right. It's sitting in there pretty right now. See how it's sitting in there?
Yep.
Okay. Now what we do is push that in there like so. Okay. That's it.
Yeah, you can see
Straight
it's not
out.
that easy to get it to sit straight, so
Okay,
you've got
once
to spend a
you
bit of
tighten
time
it
on
up,
that.
yeah, once you tighten it up, you're right.
Yep.
We slide this duvallaki in here. And what we do is we fill it up with gore. Okay, as we're going down. It's not easy, is it? I mean, it's not hard.
It's not hard.
No,
It helps that you came with all the parts pre-prepared, but it's not much. You can see, yeah,
it's very simple.
it's very simple.
Yep.
The process is complex, but the construction of this is not
No.
overly complex. Of course, the Vajra, the Thunderstorm Generator, is a little harder, but
Yes.
still, for a skilled welder,
Yeah, that's right. push it down.
It is well packed.
It is well packed, yes. I noticed a few of those overseas, they had the gauze floating around.
Yeah, which seems to be not doing the same thing, because you want to. We're really trying to
pack them in.
Yeah, well, pack it in and micronize these bubbles and create a broad spectrum of bubbles.
Yes.
To try and hit those small micronized symmetrical bubbles that we need.
Yeah, once this goes down, it'll hold in place.
Yep.
There we are.
Nice.
Okay, that's pretty. That's it. That's okay. Once I put the tighten it on with the clamps,
yep,
it'll hold it in place. Now this duvaki goes on top of here. Okay. It fits like that. And this guides the plasmoids, okay? Guides it through here.
Okay, yeah, so that's
your
the function of the funnel, which fits pretty nicely in there as well. So it's just about going to find the right parts. Sometimes this takes a little bit of searching, and that just is what it is. But you guys can share in the comments where you're finding your materials locally, and that
just
would help people out.
Yeah, Bunnings do it, and
for
also
Australia.
10,
Yeah. So equivalent places are like Home Depot in the US, you know, hardware stores for the most part. Then you can shop around for the right size parts.
Bloody thing. There we are. No. Bloody hell.
This is the hardest part of the build. Yeah, maybe put it on first. Good idea.
Yeah.
That's good to make life easier. There we go.
Simple.
So
yeah, there you go.
Do that before you do this.
Do I look in there? That's the plunger. Okay. There we go. And that's it in a nutshell. Okay, we have the female fitting on top of here, male female fitting here. So that comes up from the bottom.
This is where the air ionizer unit comes in.
Right.
Is there any set length for that pipe? A few people have asked me, but I know it's been pretty much different on every.
Yeah, it's all different. Depends where you place this thing.
You can probably play around if you're an expert in engine tuning and intakes, but yep. And then this is our outlet, which goes to the Thunderstorm Generator, so that'll come down and into the bottom sphere of the Vajra, the bottom.
And don't forget the filler.
Yeah,
the filler will be down here on this pipe here, going up to the ionizer.
Right, yep.
Little filler just before it gets the ionizer.
Okay, yep. And so you'll fill it up to about where in the chamber?
Oh, about here.
Oh, okay, sorry, a bit lower. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Keep it down low.
Yep.
And it'll just bubble.
And that's really all there is to it. I'm guessing you want to seal this as well as you can.
Yeah, of course you do. Yeah,
so just kind of standard sealants, anything that you would use for these materials.
Yeah. I put a bit of what's that stuff called? Sallies or.
Yep. The Sallies have got plenty of different things that would be appropriate. So whatever you can get locally, just to seal up. Anywhere there could be gaps, because that's the biggest problem with the system. Can often be vacuum leaks. So
yes, because it'll find a vacuum leak.
Yeah. If it can, it will. So account for that. Yeah, but otherwise that's all there is to it, to the ionizer and the bubbler. Easily stuff that you can do at home and play around with this.
So there you go.
Cheers, Steve.
It's in a nutshell.
And that's all there is to it. Thanks again to Steve for traveling about 10 hours to my place to make this happen. Steve has put a number of Thunderstorm generators together, and he worked personally on some of the original Australian prototypes, including the large natural gas Caterpillar retrofit with Malcolm Bendall that a lot of the analysis has been done on, particularly by Martin Fleischmann Memorial Project. So it was invaluable to have Steve here to show the process himself. Thanks again. I've left a link in the description which contains a bunch of photos of the materials in case anything wasn't clear in the videos, so you can go and take a look if you're doing your own build. And remember to help other replicators out by posting where you were able to find your materials locally in the comments. It's sometimes a bit of a treasure hunt. So please send in your photos, videos, or written documentation of your build or trials if you do happen to build one. I've met a number of home experimenters with mechanical and welding skills that have successfully built one now, so we all know that it can be replicated at home. Hopefully people in the comments can also help out with your build if you have any questions. I don't have time to answer them all, unfortunately. I get a lot of emails about this. So thank you for watching. I'm Jordan, and this is Alchemical Science. Stay tuned for more, because there is more. See you next time.